is the Indus Water Treaty and some material changes that India is demanding in that treaty with Pakistan due to some extraordinary reasons. Our top focus this hour. And India has informed Pakistan of its intention to amend the Indus Water Treaty of 1960, which sets out a mechanism of management of cross-border rivers. Now, according to sources, this is after Pakistani side's transigence in implementing the pact. There are certain hydropower electric projects which have been a bone of contention. Abhishek Jha with us on the broadcast. Abhishek, tell us the reasons why India is seeking these material changes.
So India has actually requested Pakistan way back in 2015 for appointment of a neutral expert committee and for this technical objection that Pakistan may have had on the hydropower project that India was having. But in 2016, Pakistan unilaterally retracted this request and proposed that a court of arbitration and adjudicate on its objection. And since then there has been multiple technical observation committees from India to Pakistan and from Pakistan to India as well. But the stalemate continues, and India and there has not been any moving forward on this direction. While India has always maintained that the hydropower project does not hinder any earlier agreements of water sharing between India and Pakistan. Pakistan has always said that these hydropower projects can actually work as a strategic adversary in times of crisis, and India can use them against Pakistan.
Pakistan back in 2015, Abhishek, had also sought a neutral expert to examine its technical objections to India's projects, which is the Kishan Ganga and also other hydropower projects which are going on. However, it withdrew that objection next year. What is it that the Pakistani side is proposing? That India should completely shut down these projects?
No. Their ideal wish could be that India should, completely shut down these projects. But they have always had certain issue about the height of the dam, and that will have a certain amount of reservoir on the Indian side, which India can use for its own irrigation projects. But Pakistan says that if that much of water is reserved and is part of India, then they will have this crisis of water in their territory, and also that this strategic reserve can be used by India. This is Pakistan's version. This strategic reserve can be used by India in sometimes to flood areas in Pakistan. So this has been Pakistan's insistence, and they have asked World Bank to become arbitrator in this issue also.
All right, so that's the update coming in. As far as India is concerned, India has made it clear that it's in line with the Indus Water Treaty. Abhishek, back in 1960, when this treaty was negotiated, it was expected that this will be a peaceful resolution to the water sharing agreement between the two nations. From 1960 to now, in 2023, over 60 years have passed. What are the critical factors which have changed in terms of the circumstances when the treaty was executed versus now?
So at least there has been 3 wars between India and Pakistan in 65, 71, and in Kargil also. Then there has this issue of terrorism, which has caused this mutual relationship go down the spiral, and there is a substantial distrust with each other that that one country's action is not adversely going to impact the other country. So this is the reason why these negotiations are taking so long. In fact, India has repeatedly tried to find a mutually agreeable way forward, but Pakistan has refused to discuss the issue. There has been 5 series of meetings between 2017 and 2022, but still the stalemate with this Kishan Ganga project and other hydropower project in Kashmir continues.
That stalemate continues to go on. There have been efforts by India to find a mutually agreeable way forward. Pakistan has refused to discuss the issue during the 5 meetings of the Permanent Indus Commission from 2017 to 2022. And Pakistan's continuing insistence, the World Bank has recently initiated actions on both the neutral expert and the court of arbitration process. That's also being reported via sources. Abhishek, as far as these 2 options are concerned, to have an independent arbitrator versus a World Bank representative, what is India's take on both of these counts?
So India is going to negotiate. India is going to take part in these negotiations. India has said the objective of the latest notice that India has sent to Pakistan is to provide Pakistan an opportunity to enter into this intergovernmental negotiations within 90 days to rectify the breaches that Pakistan has done in the past. The process will also update that you were talking about this 1962 treaty. So this process, the latest process that India has sent Pakistan notice for, will also update the agreements and discussion that has happened 60 years back. So we'll have to see how Pakistan is going to react to this.
Okay.
Pakistan has 90 days to react to this intergovernmental consultation meeting for which India has actually sent notice for.
All right, cutting across to our other guest as well, experts also joining us on the broadcast. Pathikrit Payne is with us. Good afternoon, Pathikrit. Thank you so much for speaking to us. Tell us more about the circumstances in which India is seeking these material changes. And under the treaty, under the executed pact, what are the chances we'll be able to get the deal that we want?
Well, first of all, when it comes to this treaty, what happens as of yet is that Pakistan has always been getting a much bigger share of the water than probably what they deserved, and that is something that they've used for a long period of time. While this treaty, India would not link it with anything else, but frankly, it's also a reality that once and we have always been giving far more than what riparian states are supposed to get or supposed to share. That was the unfortunate part of the whole treaty. We have been giving far more than what we actually should be giving to them. And secondly, again, the issue is for a long period of time, India has remained silent on it. But once there are other pertinent issues coming up, for example, in the issue of certain areas of India also facing drought, and India also needs that water for its own, agricultural expansion, then perhaps there is no reason why India should not ask for a renegotiation of the treaty so that as a responsible riparian state, India takes its legitimate share of water while also making, I'm sure that Pakistan gets its due. But for a long period of time, Pakistan has been getting more than what it was always deserved to get. Second point is this also a reality, like why should we give too much leeway and leverage to the Pakistanis, especially when they have never cared about India's concerns or India's integrity or India's safety. So when it comes to issues of a sovereign state like India, its security, Pakistan doesn't take care of our security concerns at all, then there's no reason for which we should give them too much leeway. We should think too much about their people and their betterment rather than thinking of our own. So I think the government has done the right thing, but it's still, I think, too little too late. It should have been done long time back. There are certain areas of India where agricultural expansion and improvement in productivity can actually happen if we can use the water of those Indus Valley rivers much more judiciously than probably what we have done for so many years, where almost the entire water used to flow away, and we had not built the requisite amount of dams even, which under legal terms...
So, Pathikrit, you're saying that the stand that India has taken right now, we should have done it much, much earlier. Pakistan is already getting much more than their due share under the treaty. I want to cut across to Mr. Sushant Sareen as well, who's joining us on the broadcast. Mr. Sareen, good afternoon. How do you see India's notice to Pakistan when it comes to the Indus Water Treaty? And India saying that, there are certain terms that need to be renegotiated.
No, I think this is it's a very important step which has been taken. For the last over 60 years, India has not taken such a step despite repeated provocations from the Pakistani side. And even now, the reason India has taken this step is not because of political disputes or, Pakistan threatening India, exporting terrorism. That's not the reason. I think it's a very technical reason and a very sound legal reason that ever since this treaty has come about, the Pakistanis have been extremely obstructive. They have one way or another, tried to stall Indian projects. Every time India has tried to do something, take, for example, the Tulbul navigation project. You name the project. They've always put riders on it. They've always raised the most silly objections to it. They've prevented us from taking or making changes in design which new modern technology allows us to do, simply because at the time when the treaty was signed, those techniques and that technology was not available. So I think, despite India engaging with Pakistan's obduracy on this issue, and, they're trying to act two kills by half, I think India has reached the end of its tether of patience.